friend Colin, you're a good Christian boy, right?
I'm a boy.
Okay, well,
pretty good.
I guess this is a test for your eternal soul.
No.
Colin, could you please tell me, where is hell?
Obviously, it's in another plane of existence.
Dang, he actually does know.
Maybe.
I know you haven't been to church school, Ethan, but they do teach you that there, so that actually tracks.
Okay, that's like the wrong kind of nerd answer, but it is also the right answer. So I guess you get to keep your immortal soul
Sweet.
for
I don't
today.
have to go there. Okay.
You know what that means, Colin?
What does it mean?
It means you're not doomed. It's Doom. We're doing Doom.
Roll the credits.
Welcome, weary traveler. You have stumbled across a comedy chronicled of cranial confections, a frenzied fable of bewitching fiends, an enticing expose of eccentric evils. Should you brave ahead, you will find yourself lost, afraid, and cursed with everlasting knowledge of the terrible occult. Will you survive this journey? That I cannot say. But I can say it will be the lore of horror.
This has been, here's a behind the scenes. This has been a disaster. We have tried to make this episode happen so many times. My computer keeps breaking. Something keeps going wrong. This series is actually doomed, by the way.
Yeah. So welcome to The Lore You Know, a podcast where three friends are always doomed to record the same things over and over. And here to bring you the mostly correct facts about made-up things this week are me, Fran.
Me, Ethan.
And I'm CJ. And what's that? A fourth member of the DK crew?
Why DK?
No, I'm DK,
I'm
obviously.
sorry.
Ethan, Diddy Kong,
Yeah.
obviously.
Okay.
I'm the girl one.
The girl, yeah. So that means you can be...
Cranky.
I love that you were ready with that. That's good.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
good.
This is Colin.
Yep. Colin, long time auto downloader. First time caller.
Yeah. Colin is not just some rando we found on the street. I mean, kinda is, but
we actually hunted down the person who gave us that 1 4-star review
yeah, we got him.
on
We're gonna
iTunes.
execute
And it
him
was
live.
Colin.
Yeah, we're gonna
Turns
execute him
out.
live on the podcast.
That would probably get our numbers up.
Well, we'll get that one off of the board, so in a way, yeah.
That's true. That automatically deletes any reviews I put out there on the internet.
No, Colin is of course famous for doing Let's Plays with us. We played video games. We played
Double Dash.
We played Double Dash. That was very funny. We played Ultimate Chicken Horse. Very good time.
I'm not good at that game.
And
That's
so
okay.
and so we know that you're a bit of a gamer boy. Is that, would you say that?
A little bit. Maybe not as much as I'm getting older, but it works.
Okay.
I like games.
Got weirdly sad.
We
in the
don't
middle
need to
there.
talk about the issues of middle age at this time yet.
We
just
don't. We
yet.
don't talk about the
Are you
fact
the
that
youngest
we're all
of us?
like
I am the youngest.
moving
Oh my God.
away from the things that this podcast is about, as we just sit at our desks and fill in data sheets
Well,
until we die.
At the great. At the beginning of the podcast, we had 120 something, and then we lost that person because it was me, and I got older. I didn't die. So I wanted to get some young 20-something blood back in the mix.
Oh, that's
Yep.
right.
And I knew that there was only one person we could count on to talk about a video game series as pervasive, as persistent as Doom. Colin, what do you know about Doom?
So I remember growing up in middle school I was always a Halo boy.
Mm.
And Halo was always better than Doomguy. So that's wasn't
Wow.
he in that? Is Doomguy in the
Fortnite, yes.
He is in the
that's
Fortnite.
how I remember.
So is the Halo man.
I remember I was scrolling through Amazon Prime the other day, and I saw there's a Doom movie
Oh my
with The
gosh.
Rock.
There is.
Colin, you're so
You're
ready.
in for a ride.
You're
I
prepared.
haven't actually clicked on it.
That's
but that
all
was
right.
that
That's
was
good.
intriguing.
That's all right, because
He's
someone
done
here
all the
did.
research.
Someone here paid $3.99 to rent the Doom
Well, you
movie from
paid.
Daddy
Oh my God.
Bezos.
You didn't even pirate it. You actually paid for it.
I support the arts, Fran.
No. It's an art, I guess,
I-
possibly.
how much of the like online rental market have they created just by making people? They're like, we'll make podcasts really popular, and then people will try to create podcasts, and they'll
They'll have
rent
to.
old garbage so that they can talk about it.
I mean,
that's our real business model.
It has to be a not insignificant amount, because I know a lot of podcasts that are like, I watched fucking, I don't know, Cool World again, and let me tell you, that movie existed.
What was Moon Crash or something?
Moon Crash is good.
Is that actually what it's called?
It's Moon Down.
Moon Smack.
Moon Smackdown.
So this is a podcast about Doom.
This is a podcast about nothing, Colin, obviously. But thank you for getting us on track. That's why you're here.
It is
to
a
keep us
podcast about
focused.
us being doomed. So thank you for listening to the intro. Then.
Yeah.
That's good.
Before we get started, let's call out our loyal listener, Noah Senpai, for giving us the idea to do Doom for the spooky season.
Noah, we went through a lot.
We
Make
did
this happen for you.
So yeah, I hope you notice us again doing this. Let's talk about the very good lore of Doom, and we'll make it a little spooky because it's the spooky season, and this is all about ghouls and goblins and demons.
So, okay. Before we get too far into it, this is me.
We haven't got into it at all.
I know, exactly. So, Doom, in my mind, from the 90s, looks like the screensaver on the old Windows 95, 98 PCs, where you could like just have like the maze and you run through it, and like you run into a wall and then you flip upside down.
Same engine.
And all that stuff. Is that Doom? Is that Doom just without the violence?
The pipe one or the...
No, the one where it's like a maze and the
you're
walls are like
thinking of
bricks.
The other famous background for
I do
computers
know about the pipe
of
one.
the
That's
90s.
Mario, obviously.
Yeah,
so.
that was based on Mario. This one's based on Doom.
No, so yes, Fran, you have the right general idea. Doom, the original, came out in 1993, and it's a good year for good boys. So Doom came out. It was a big release year. We had Doom, we had Colin. It was a fantastic time, and Doom is considered kind of the father of the first-person shooter genre. Wolfenstein and a few other things did technically come before it, but Doom was the really big one for a few different reasons. One of them is because older games like Wolfenstein were much more simplistic. Wolfenstein did it literally worked off of a maze-like system, like our wallpaper, screensaver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they're just there wasn't a lot of depth to movement, and the areas all just kind of blended together. Doom added the amazing update of ramps.
Oh.
You could go up and down
Slightly?
as well as side to side.
Oh
Ooh.
my God,
That's
Ethan, that's another
directional.
dimension. A whole dimension they added.
Graphics are so real.
People looked at it and they said, it'll never look more real than this.
I feel like we could probably find an old issue of
Is any more, and it would be
Gamer or
too
whatever.
scary if those.
I attempted old timey game reviewers. I attempted to play this game, but I was actually afraid I was teleported to hell, and so I stopped because it was too scary.
It was
Don't
far
purchase
too
this.
scary. But yeah, so Doom is it's the first one that we might officially consider a 3D shooter. A lot of the previous ones we kind of put into that 2.5D category because they didn't have the whole suite of movement. And that mattered a lot for Doom because Doom was also one of the first games that really invited a modding community. Certainly, there were older games since the dawn of personal computers. People have been getting into games like Wolfenstein and mucking around, but Doom actually made its files specifically so that they were really easy to edit and could be swap traded, use easily. It was still early days, so they didn't put any instructions of any kind because they were afraid that would give them liability because no one had done this before. They were like, I don't know, if someone makes a fucking
Big booby
Disneyland Doom level, are we then liable if we taught them how to make a modded level?
Gotcha.
But it was way easier than previous hackers who were trying to change up Wolfenstein, robot Hitler and such.
So they just figured the nerds would figure it out.
Yeah, and they did.
And they did. And now we have Gary's mod.
They have imagine a video game, Fran. So there's flying monsters that are like heads with big eyeballs and mouths, and they are rah rah rah. But imagine if instead of that it was a beautiful anime woman, and she was trying to smother you in her bosom.
I have a feeling that was made as a mod in
I
the
made
90s.
it.
Oh, okay. When you were 3?
Yeah, I was a very horny 3-year-old. And to shoot them, you can't aim up.
Yeah. How do you aim then if you could only go slightly up with ramps and slightly down with ramps and side to side?
You don't. You just aim left and right, and
You just hit
if
the whole
they
Y
are
axis
on
with it?
that
Yeah,
axis,
the Z
then
axis,
you will
but yeah.
you will hit them.
Can enemies from higher
Yeah.
levels
Yeah, gotcha.
shoot down at you?
Yeah.
That
Again,
seems
it's
unfair.
That is unfair.
Yeah, but they actually
That's-
it actually shows that, doesn't it?
it's called the high ground, Colin, and it's not unfair. It's strategy.
If you were a warrior,
Um,
you'd know.
I've seen Revenge of the Sith. I know. I know the power of high ground.
But you make a good point, Colin, and that those were all questions that mattered because Doom was also this first shooting game to have competitive multiplayer.
Ooh.
The reason that we call versus matches in shooting games deathmatch is because it came from Doom, and Doom, of course, has to name everything silly and over the top. So they didn't just have competitive game. They're like, no, deathmatch.
Kilgore.
Okay.
So you think you like the green Halo man,
Oh my
Samus, but in fact you actually like the green Doom man.
Oh no, the birth of multiplayer shooters.
Oh no!
Oh no, I thought it was Halo.
That ruined my life.
Was
in a
Master
way.
Chief inspired by Doomguy then?
Probably. It's Microsoft. All they do is steal other people's stuff.
Listen, I can tell you all about it in my separate fanfic where I do have Doomguy and Master Chief. They do kiss.
Yeah,
And then they
their
make
helmets
Samus?
pressed together, and it's very beautiful.
Ooh.
correct.
But
Yeah, I think we already put that in an episode where Ethan talks about how Halo guy and Samus have a relationship to make Doom guy.
Well, that was just recently in our clip episode.
promised me that if I made this podcast with you, I could talk about my fanfic once every 4 episodes.
that was too many in
It's too many.
retrospect.
Use your 30-second
Ethan, for heaven's sake, this is a lore podcast. Whoa, what is this little guy doing? What's he out?
What is Master Chief doing in this Doom
What's
universe?
his agenda?
Yeah, so
Does he speak?
the
Yeah, he goes,
story
"Urgh."
of Doomguy, he doesn't particularly speak in the games. Again, this came out in 93, so we weren't having a ton of audio
Maybe text-based.
overlays and such. It was just kind of rockin' shotguns and rocket launchers and the like. But the story of Doom is, I guess, as far as our podcast is concerned, it's a pretty straightforward one.
Okay. I love straightforward stories.
Yeah, let's knock this one out.
That don't involve the creation of a universe.
Right. That would be stupid.
So convoluted.
They know more than me.
All right. So there's this big corporation that is, as powerful as a nation. Right. We're in the fantasy make believe realm. So
right. That would never be.
Not like our current corporations.
Right.
At all.
Corporatocracy.
So the Union Aerospace Corporation has set up bases on Mars, and they are running these experiments because they want to create a teleporter that will use interdimensional travel to get people from point A to point B.
Classic.
They have very clear signs as soon as they start doing the research that they have gone too far, because every time they try to open these interdimensional portals, they take a little peek inside and they're like, well, that certainly looks like the Christian hell.
Colin, you're a bit of a science man, a learned man. You create stuff, programs sometimes, maybe.
Sure.
Let's say your programmers came to you and they said, "Hey, boss, we came up with this cool new code
Exciting.
that I think it's gonna revolutionize a lot of stuff."
Yeah.
Whenever we run it, it does form a pentagram
Shut it
out
down.
of blood.
Shut it down. Nothing.
All right.
But but Colin, what if it does really cool stuff and just happens to make a pentagram?
Right, it does the things you want it to do, but
Yeah,
Wait
it's
a
just like
second.
a side effect.
Will we be profitable?
Yes.
There we go. There we go. All right.
You didn't say that.
So, despite the fact that this seems to be a very bad idea, they do decide, interdimensional travel would make us a lot of money.
It's true.
So we're going to keep on with this research. And, they end up opening a portal to hell. Demons pour out into the Mars bases and murder all of the scientists there.
Well, we're on Earth, so
Right,
why do we care?
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Like, if it's just all on Mars, then just don't go to Mars anymore. Oh, hey, do you want to go to Mars? Oh, no, it's filled with demons now. I don't want to go there.
So here's the problem is, Colin, that
Here's the hook.
we're playing as a character the community has named Doomguy.
Officially.
I mean, that's a red flag already. But also, Doomguy, he's a Marine, and he disobeyed a direct order to fire on civilians. And
Crazy.
so he must be a really good
Stand
guy,
up.
a pacifist probably.
Probably.
Based
That is
based
such
on
a
that
bizarre
intro.
backstory. Like, the more we hear about this guy, the more there is no reason for him to, like, have a backstory. But the fact that his backstory is, like, he likes peace too much. He's too kind.
Did he escape from hell? Is that his deal?
Not yet.
He did not escape from hell. He refused a direct order from a superior, and so he was shipped off to Mars as a punishment. And so
That's
all
so
beings.
expensive.
Well, it was cheaper when
Well,
you have teleporters.
Okay, so the teleporters work, but
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah.
Each time a little demon.
The
spins
prophet,
out.
Colin.
Just a pentagram pops up. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's fine.
So Doomguy does find himself alone at this base here, and he's like, there is no way for me to escape except for going right through the demons and getting to that teleporter. And that is the entire story of the game.
Yeah, you're on Mars,
Yep.
which look like a hell, but it's not.
It just happens to have demons.
Which is a contentious point for me, I will say, as I've now studied this series thoroughly. Half the time you're on Mars and you're like, am I in hell right now? Because it's just it's like red and there's nothing in the sky because it's Mars, and
Yeah.
and then you go to hell and it's like the same, but there's like blood circles and everything's made out of bones.
Do you go to hell in the same first game?
You do go to hell in the
Well,
first game.
yeah.
I think you spend at least some time in hell in every game.
Yeah.
That I know of.
So
Yes.
Doomguy is stuck on Mars, punching his way through demons to do just a bunch of
Because
demons.
he hates them.
Bunch of demons.
He's too nice. We know that because he won't kill civilians.
But
which
he'll
means,
kill and murder demons, of course.
Yeah, that demons are the opposite of civilians.
Mm.
So he only kills demons.
It's every pacifist dream, because we all know if you're a pacifist, you really do want to do violence, but you just want it to be okay.
Can I tell you something, Ethan? I literally have like, if monsters were real, I would go so fucking crazy on killing them. That would be insane. But there are no. I mean, the real monster's man. So
Yeah.
I would
most
never
dangerous
do
game.
that because it's bad. But if it was good,
But if it was,
I would
if
love
it-
that
if
so
there
much.
Was, if God was like, those are the bad guys, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah, so
awesome.
if you
God
were the
sanctioned.
good guy with a gun,
Yeah. That's good.
you would stop all the bad guys.
If
with the
I
guns.
didn't have a modern education and I was in Crusader times and they're like, those guys, literal demons, I'd be like, all right, let's get them, boys.
True. The Pope told you. Yeah.
And the
The
Pope's
Pope's
not.
really
The
good
Pope
about
is,
this.
you know.
Well, which pope? There was a time when the popes had there was
We're
a
not talking
schism.
about the mini Pope thing. Why do you always bring up the mini Pope thing?
Because it's fascinating.
We don't have time to talk about the time where they had lots of popes.
There's 7 of them.
This is not the first time Fran has brought up
The Pope
multiple
schism.
popes.
Okay, I'm sorry for using the trigger word.
So the story of the original Doom games is pretty bare bones, but
Is it the same for
I
Doom
think-
2?
so Doom 2, you make it through the teleporter to Earth, but the demons also did take that teleporter
Oh.
to Earth and are invading the Earth.
So now it's a problem for
now
Earth.
it's on Earth, yeah.
So
Ah.
are we responsible for that by jumping through the teleporter to Earth, or is it another teleporter?
No, you're a Doom guy. You
Doomguy's just there to
I don't
punch.
think Doomguy opened a teleporter to Earth. I think a teleporter to Earth
Was.
opened, and Doomguy's like, "Oh, I gotta handle this."
Got it.
Mm.
Got it.
Mhm.
That's kind of him.
So Doomguy, you go through the teleporter again. The armies of Earth have already been defeated, so you are alone,
So
and
fast.
you are
Uber
the
run.
demon's worst nightmare. You defeat all of them and
And are
close the portal to hell.
are we so we're a single Marine.
Yep.
All of the armies of Earth that presumably we were part of those armies before.
Correct.
Is it just our purity from not wanting to kill the civilian that's giving us extra
Colin, it is
power?
literally people like you that is making me so angry right now. Because there didn't have to be he was just a protagonist, you know? There didn't have to be a special reason why he was able to kill the demons. But don't worry, Colin, the fucking id Software developers are gonna hold your hand about 10 years, 20 years later, and they'll be like, "Oh, we'll tell you all the little all the little
I'm
reasons and
sorry.
lore nuggets that
There's
you
just
want."
been a lot of Marvel movies that have come out with super
Yeah, I know.
soldier
It's
serum
almost like it ruined
and
all
power
of
armor.
everything.
When we're talking about the original Doom games, there's not as much to talk about the in-game lore, but there is a pretty decent amount to talk about with the real world lore of Doom.
Oh, Ethan,
Uh,
you're saying that video games don't exist in a vacuum and actually have some sort of cultural impact on people and make
No.
them make podcasts sometimes?
No.
CJ, I'm saying exactly that. I'm saying that video games are really important, and whoever podcasts about them are heroes in a
the
way,
top echelon
and
of
should
society.
get 5-star ratings
Colin.
on their
You're
on
right.
iTunes.
You're right, and subscriptions and likes and messages about just how
Yeah.
cool we are, and asking for it doesn't diminish that. In fact, it enhances it.
Sure.
Go tell your friends.
So with Doom, it is again, it's the creator of the first-person shooter genre. Really, there was a decent chunk of time where we didn't have the term first-person shooter, and games of that type were just called Doom clones.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that important and influential, and Doom it's considered perhaps the most influential game of all time, and we get the good with that and the bad with that, because Colin, I'll put you on blast here. Do you know what the bad thing that happened with Doom be?
Absolutely not.
Okay, if you had to guess on a level, on a scale of badness, like what Doom would be related to, from, we'll say at the bottom of the scale is a
Corporate lobbying in
like-
Congress?
Oh, I was gonna say more like a leaked congressman's dick pic.
Oh.
that's what I was
Oh,
going to say. At the bottom
From
of
a
the
leaked congressman's dick pic to 9/11, where do you think this falls?
I'm
in
not
the
gonna say
scale?
anything.
I didn't realize you guys came here to entrap me.
I got a job.
Colin, I want you to make a guess.
Is this the birth of violent video games? Like, cause is this where you're getting at? Like
Related.
It's pretty similar.
or like because it has hell elements to it. Like, we don't want anyone playing video games and
See, I would have thought it was Satanic
You're
Panic.
on the right track.
circling around it. Okay.
Not
So,
Satanic Panic, apparently.
These are both those things that you just talked about were things that existed before Doom, right? The Satanic Panic was a big thing when D&D came out,
70s
and then there had been previous violent video games that people had, they had their qualms with, and they were like, well, maybe video games are ruining the youth.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
But then the Columbine shooting happened.
And the guy who did it, a gamer. Unfortunately, not representing what gamers really stand for,
No.
which is killing demons and not children. As we've discussed, Doomguy never kills innocent civilians.
That's true.
Correct.
The two perpetrators of the Columbine massacre were avid Doom fans, and they wrote in their journals that killing people would be just like playing Doom. There are rumors that, unsubstantiated, but rumors that they used the Doom modding elements to recreate their school so that they could practice doing the shooting beforehand. So it was what you might call bad PR.
Yeah. And did that affect the direction of Doom? No, because then they made it more demonic, and like it did, I guess, stall them out in that they didn't like adapt much on the formula.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
first-person shooters are definitely still around.
Well, yeah, but that, like, Doom got a lot of the heat for that because specifically it was demonic. So then you have a lot of like, this would obviously be a ways off, but you have a lot of like Call of Duty stuff, which is less of a it's less of a social pariah because it's basically an advertisement for the United States military.
Yeah, so instead of killing demons, you're demonizing people.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
And they're more okay. I mean,
Awesome.
it's literally subsidized by the United States military to like advertise how cool being in the military is, so that when the kids grow up, they're like, I want to go shoot people in the Middle East for real.
Did you ever actually know anybody like in high school who like was playing a lot of CS:GO or whatever, or Counter-Strike, and was like, I'm definitely gonna go to the military. I know all these guns because I did.
Everyone,
so I didn't know if anyone else knew a guy.
Everyone I know who played Counter-Strike in middle and high school turned into a software programmer, which is maybe the worst thing you can be.
No, I definitely knew a boy in high school who was like super into those games, and then he's like, I'm gonna join the military, and like so he like got accepted to West Point, and then he dropped out within a semester.
He's like, this isn't like
Wait,
Call of Duty.
No, he was upset because he had to listen to his superiors and do what they asked of him.
Yeah, and he kept calling them slurs,
But
but
I
I
want
didn't
to-
like that.
Yeah, it says, when he shoot me, how do I respawn? Please.
My KDR was so good.
So, this is a game that has very little lore. that's given to you because it's the technical limitations will say.
Did it have the lore in the game, or was it like back in the day when you had to like read the pamphlet that came with it?
This was absolutely a pamphlet.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is it actually goes a step beyond that, Fran. This is a time when a lot of the lore comes from magazine spreads.
Sweet.
So like PC Gamer
Yeah.
would like reveal the names of the enemies
That's
because
great.
you just didn't know. So there's things like Pinky Demon and stuff like that I think were like the community kind of came up with, and then they just adopted it. But then there were other things where the community was just calling them stuff, and then eventually they're like, no, this is actually the name of that creature.
It's one of the fun monetization things from back in the day. Not like microtransactions in game. You just need to buy a bunch of pieces of physical media to understand what's going on.
Yeah, which is bullshit because we give you that information and we don't charge anything. So, maybe, an opportunity. So to go through, we have Doom 2,
Okay.
the Doomering. There's Doom 3, which is in a lot of ways a rehash of the Doom 1 story, but a little more like cohesive because now they had like technical abilities to do stuff.
Can we
Okay.
aim up and down now?
You can aim up and down.
Oh.
You can do all sorts of things.
Wow.
In fact, you have I think they modeled a hand, so you actually are like holding
You can actually
a thing
see.
with a gun instead of just like the tip of the gun pointing out from under your
Whoa.
screen.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's
Um,
a
Are we
technical
Are we still
marvel.
in Sprite Land?
No, I think we're now in
We
That's
are,
like 97.
if I remember all the way to the modern Marvel that is the Xbox, friend.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
well,
Doom
there-
3?
there's Doom 3 and then Doom 64, which was like a port of, it wasn't like a straight port, but they basically took a lot of the stuff from Doom 3 and then a lot of the plot elements from Doom 1 and 2, and then they mashed them all together for a game that would run on the Nintendo 64.
Oh,
It's
okay.
one of the fun era when like weird generations means we're actually making two different versions of a game. A
Yeah.
lot of the time.
Well, I mean, you have the jump from 2D PC graphics, which it's not 2D because you are in a 3D space, but it is just a bunch
Yeah.
of PNGs that they display in different
Mhm.
ways. To now you're getting actual like modeling and like 3D rendering and stuff like that. And like Doom was kind of at the forefront of that too, because people didn't know how to make a game
Yeah.
in 3D. They didn't know, like, the best approximation they had was Doom from the old games, and then that's how you get like GoldenEye, which is just an abysmal to control game if you go back
Yeah.
and play it. But they were like, well, we'll just put everyone kind of at gun level so that you don't have to aim up and down. And
Except one guy.
Except
will
one
make
guy
him
who's-
super short.
who's cheating if you pick him in multiplayer. It's oddball. He's
Yeah.
short, and it make everyone mad.
I thought it was Odd Job.
Oh my God, Colin! Thank God you're here.
Oh, God.
but you corrected me on my own podcast, so I am gonna have to cut that out. It'll never see the light of day.
As we said in the clip show. Can't have that.
Do you, Colin? Is there anything else you want to talk about, Ethan, with old Doom,
Just
or do you
like-
want me to go to new?
Are we
Doom?
still in the 90s?
When did Doom 3 come out?
I mean, Doom 3 is 2004.
Okay.
But
Oh.
here, the thing is, Colin, is that I could tell you about like 4 more Doom games. I could tell you about the Quake series, which is not a Doom game, but is also a Doom game.
Was it modded from Doom? Like
It was not. It was also made by id Software.
Okay.
But
Okay.
they
So it wasn't like a Dota 2 versus Warcraft 3
Right.
situation.
Well, it was all id Software.
But yeah, the thing that it comes down to is that I would tell you the same story about 5 times about
Okay. We can keep
some
going,
silly people opened a portal to a bad place. And so instead we're just going to let CJ go to the newest iteration of that because it has the most stupid lore added into it.
You can't
and
say
that's
that,
what
Ethan.
makes
It's
it
epic.
the most fun.
No, it's cool. The one thing we have to at least address, and I hate to, but the Quake series opens up the idea of multiverse theory.
So
Well,
you're asking about
and-
Marvel earlier. There you go.
It all
And
comes
the
down to that.
It all comes
nerds
around.
won't let go of this. They need so just to kind of get us in the right mindset here. The new Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal games that came out are what we in the industry would call a soft reboot, where it takes the characters that you know, but it modernizes them, and it doesn't necessarily like throw away the existing lore, but it's like it's not that important because we're going to do a story now here, and that's what's important.
And also, the lore wasn't very substantial before because
Right.
it was just dude on Mars
Yeah,
refused to kill children
Yeah,
or whatever.
and
then-
and so we get this. So of course we get the nerds who are like, well, in Quake they show that there are multiverses with many different types of Doom guys, and there's always a Doom guy, and there's always a lighthouse, and there's always demons, and he's always slaying them, and there's and so then you play in multiplayer in Quake Tournament of Champions or whatever the fuck, and everyone is fighting each other because they all like teleport in from cross dimensions. So actually this new Doom guy is perhaps from a different Doom guy dimension, and it's like, no, it's
It
just
doesn't need a reason.
they took the original guy. We'll get into it, but they took the original guy, and he's this now.
Yeah.
Is what he is.
Mhm.
But we'll talk about it. But first, Colin.
Is he still a pacifist?
Yeah,
Okay.
he'd never kill another human.
Okay.
Actually, that's not true. He kills all sorts of things. He doesn't kill people though.
Okay.
Colin.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about a really good movie really quick?
Okay. I'm scared. Is this the Prime movie that I was hovering over?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
here. Let me save you a click
Yeah.
and $3.
Okay. No, I don't. I wouldn't even need to pay for it. Here's it. Like it's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's part of the free with Prime.
Well, in that
Wait,
case,
really?
you should
Yeah.
definitely
Oh no,
watch it.
I got swindled by Daddy Bezos again. You know, they made all of those really cool video game movies for a long time, and like the Mario movie that we talked about in a previous podcast. You should go check that out. But then maybe because of the Mario movie, they stopped doing that for a while. But they realized that there was a new generation of gamers that was now gaming on the Xbox.
Shooting is cool.
And shooting is epic.
It's cooler than being a
Was
plumber.
did this come out the same time as like the Resident Evil and like Silent
Oh.
Hill movies and
Oh.
stuff?
Fran, you're figuring it out. And maybe a little lady you might know as Lara Croft.
Oh yeah,
Remember
yeah.
those
Angelina Jolie
movies?
movies. Yep.
Angelina Jolie.
So they were like, these epic gamers want movie versions of their epic games.
Yeah.
And so
And then we
what-
won't have to change the storyline at all because it's already written, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, and the story's probably really good already. So we all
don't
we have
need
to do is get Dwayne in here and have him bang out some lines, and let's
Really great.
Colin, what do you know about the Doom movie?
Absolutely. I saw The Rock's in it.
Yep, you got that.
So, like
He is not the
Is this-
Doom guy.
Oh,
is
that's
this
disappointing.
He's on the cover.
He is. He's a main character, but he's not the Doom guy. Can you guess who the Doom guy is?
Is the Doom guy not in this movie?
He is.
He is in the movie.
He is
Okay.
in the movie, and he's played by a guy who has achieved additional fame. He's been acting for a long time, but he has more fame from a recent Amazon series about superheroes.
I know this series. I don't know, and the actor is.
I forgot his name again.
You don't know his
Oh
I was
my
hoping
God.
you would know. He's the doctor from the new Star Trek movies.
The Bones McCoy guy.
Yeah, his name's Bones McCoy.
What is his name? Carl Urban.
There
Yeah,
you
his
go.
name is Carl.
Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Carl Urban.
It's Carl Urban.
got
I was
there.
getting there.
He is going to be our Doom guy. So imagine
Cool.
this. Let's just fly through this because this is not canon, but it kind of is.
It's
So
awful.
the movie is based on the plot of Doom 3.
Yeah.
It's actually very similar to the plot of Doom 3.
Okay.
And remember Ethan said about the UAC, the United whatever.
Airline
Yep.
Corporation
Back
or
in
whatever.
Amazon on Mars.
Yeah. So
United Amazon.
okay, so they discovered a portal in the Arizona desert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it was Nevada. It doesn't matter. But then
The desert.
they go through this portal and they realize it's a portal to Mars.
Oh, not hell.
No, this one just goes to Mars.
Okay.
And so they're like, sick. And so they name this portal the Ark for some reason, but remember that name because the people who make Doom keep calling things Ark for no reason.
There was an arc in the movie 2012.
Yeah, I
The
know.
disaster.
Well, that's because that was like
Noah's Ark.
yeah. An ark is a metaphor for like a cradle that holds you through tough times.
Okay.
But like that doesn't make sense for this because it's a teleporter.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe Mars is the cradle for us all.
So they go to Mars, and the UAC finds a bunch of mysterious bones on Mars.
Is it just a planet, or have they
Mars?
established any?
Yeah, it is. I don't know.
Are
if
you
wanna
wondering
say
if there's
just-
any like
I don't know if you want to play.
colonization,
When-
like
when,
human colonization of
is
it?
this their very first time on Mars, or do they have all the buildings and stuff?
There are.
Ooh.
There
That's a good question, Colin. Did we have a rover on Mars at this point in history?
and it just never found all the cool shit.
I mean, Mars is a planet.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of surface area.
Yeah, like if you had that little rover on Earth, it would never find if you shot it into like
And it landed in Mongolia.
Nebraska. Yeah, you're not gonna find New York.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be like, oh, this is a planet of nothing but
If you
corn.
shoot that rover into Nebraska, you will find no civilization anywhere.
Maybe we just happened to hit the Nebraska of Mars with all of our shuttles.
So
So much corn.
we're in spacesuits.
Right.
Can we get back to Earth?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
all
a
right.
two-way teleporter.
Okay, all
So
right.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so they build a bunch of facilities on Mars. So there are a bunch of buildings.
What's the time span?
This happens in the distant future, the year 2026.
Oh.
So far away.
Where
All right, I hope we're checking out that Arizona desert over there.
so we're getting there pretty quick. And they pretty quickly find a bunch of Martian bones. And
That's different.
so they send a bunch of archaeologists and they build this huge facility to do like research, and they're doing all this research on like dimensional travel and all this other like doom stuff. But this time there isn't any hint of demonic energy.
There's
in
no
their-
pentagrams
in their-
popping up
yeah,
as
in
they
their travel.
try to get through
Because
it.
this is a science movie. This is about science. But we open up with a bunch of scientists, and they're like running, and they're like and they're all getting ripped to pieces. And
not good.
it's
By
like
what?
we don't know yet, Colin.
Okay.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
It's the hook. But all we know is that something bad has happened on this space facility, and so they're gonna the UAC is gonna send the Rootness Tootness group of Marines. They're gonna send 6 dudes or 8, one of the two, and they're like, this is the correct number of people to go deal with this emergency situation.
And are they UAC employees, or are they?
Yeah, are they
It
contractors?
It kind of is implied again that the UAC has like more influence than God or whatever, so they can just hire Marines because
Mr. President.
because
Right,
the Marines
yeah.
do say at one point they're like, I signed up to serve my country, not to die for some corporation. So I get
Oh,
I don't know.
interesting.
Yeah, whatever.
You could argue that. Okay. it's
So
fine.
they go there, and the Rock is there, and he's named Sarge, and because he's in charge of the unit.
Sarge in charge.
Sarge is in
Sarge
charge.
in charge.
And Keith Urban.
Carl.
Carl.
He
Keith
pulls out
Urban's
his guitar.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just a simple country boy, but if there's any demons up on this here space rock, I'm not gonna be angry. They teleport up there in their little teleporter. They meet a guy named Pinky, and he is only at the top half of a man because I guess he was in a teleporter accident and he lost his bottom half. And in the
keep using
and,
these teleporters.
and in the future, well, they said they fixed it. And
They're
then
very profitable, you see.
It's only happened once.
And then they also said, and in the future, they don't give you a wheelchair; they attach one to your body, so he's attached to a wheelchair.
Oh.
And
I
then
feel like they could have just attached him to like robotic legs at that point. Then.
no,
instead.
that technology doesn't exist.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
afraid.
Just the wheelchair.
Just the wheelchair that is connected to his fucking spine.
Okay. Yeah, that's easier.
So they go up there and they're doing all their investigation, and as they go through, Mr. Urban meets his twin sister, who is a scientist that works in the facility.
Okay.
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm so angry that you became a Marine instead of a scientist like Dad always wanted us to be."
Oh.
And then And he's like, well, I don't have the eye for science or some such shit. And then she's like, well, I'm telling you, bro, I'm a biologist or some shit, and like a xenobiologist at this point, I guess.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I've been look at these crazy alien bones.
These bones.
But the weird thing about it is, remember what Dad always taught us, and he was like, I don't remember anything from Dad's biology lessons, and she's like, it was the first thing he told us to look for. And he's like, fine, I'll look at this computer monitor with all his genetics. And he's like, what? There's a 24th chromosome, which is I guess his dad, their dad was always like children, if you find anyone with 24 chromosomes, you let me know.
The thing, so are they finding the Martians have 24 chromosomes?
Yes.
That these bones do.
The bones do.
Okay, so here's the thing is that
They're Martians. What the fuck does it mean?
Right, yeah. All different species on Earth have all different numbers of chromosomes. Like, there's nothing weird about Martians having another chromosome that we don't have.
Don't we share like chromosomes with a banana or something like that?
We share
Genomes.
Genomes, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway. My father wasn't a geneticist, and I wasn't getting biology lessons growing up like these folks.
You wouldn't have done well in this situation.
I would not.
I'm afraid. So
dogs have 78 chromosomes. Is what Dad was freaked out by dogs. He didn't like that. One time he looked at their chromosome. That's how he died.
That's how he
got a heart attack.
So the Marines are going through this facility, but Kyle's sister is like, his name's Reaper in the show, by the way, because their last name is Grim, and so they all have like code names, and so his name's Grim.
That's kind of
But
cool.
the doctor lady, the scientist, her last name's also Grim because they're siblings. So, but she's not called Reaper because she's not a Marine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
scientists should really adopt nicknames.
Anyway,
like Marines do.
the group has a bunch of like unlikely soldiers. Like there's the one guy who's like too into himself, and there's another guy who's all like Catholic and shit. And then there's another guy who doesn't have a lot of personality traits. He just follows orders, but he's got a big like chain gun, so that's kind of cool.
Is Reaper wearing the cool green armor?
No, unfortunately not. They're all just wearing like Space Marine suits.
Generic.
Yeah.
They did not predict the Space Force, I guess.
Yeah.
To be formed.
This is still the era of video game movies where they somehow didn't realize that if you just put in the things from the games that people will like freak out.
Yeah.
It's like if they
gave him the helmet, it would have been, people would have been like, oh. Well, there is a couple of those moments, but we'll get there. Anyway, so all these guys are like going around. There's like the new kid who's like, it's like, oh, it's my first day, man. I'm gonna fucking die. He does eventually, but it's fine. Spoiler: they all die eventually.
Oh,
but not Carl.
Carl?
Does the Doomguy die?
Right. No, he doesn't, but we'll get there. So they're like discovering this thing. There be monsters here.
Yeah.
All right. There is a creature that looks like a imp from the video game Doom.
Oh.
Because again, Doom 3 has come out, so we've had 3D models of these monsters, and so it just looks like that. And they're like, where are these monsters coming from? We got to figure out where the monsters are coming from, and we got to get rid of them, and no one's allowed back to Earth through the Ark until we figure this out. And so they're in a bottle now, and they have to like deal with it. And then there's all this like mystery about like, oh, where are the demons coming from? Even though it's like pretty easily foreshadowed that the demons are just humans that turned into demons. Well,
hold on.
That's what happened.
Wait.
So Colin's like, I did not see that coming.
Oh my god.
So these demons aren't just okay.
So there's one. There's one.
So they zombified them?
Yes. So we learn through the movie that these people are getting infected.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
like this creature that shoots into people's necks and like wiggles into their brains and then like infects them.
I don't like that.
And we learn that the remember I said that one of the Space Marines is like a Catholic guy, and he's like, oh Lord, protect me, oh heaven above. Well, he gets infected, and then he starts to turn to a zombie. But then as he's a zombie, he like crosses himself.
Yeah.
And
So-
then
That
he just
protects
and then
him.
he just like smashes his head on glass until he kills himself. Because
God.
they're like, he knew he was turning into a demon, and he didn't want to do that because God. And so
I've got 5 seconds left to save my soul.
Yeah, so he just did a KYS.
So what's the point of the chromosome then?
Okay, that's an excellent question, Frank.
Why did we have the geneticist father teaching us these lessons?
Because the lady doctor, she's doing research the whole time on these demons, and she's like, they have all the physiology of a human, but they're all mutated in demon.
Uh-huh.
Well, it turns out the ancient aliens that used to live on Mars had advanced technology, and they figured out that they could artificially implant a 24th chromosome onto an already 23 chromosomed creature.
Okay.
And when they did this, it would imbue that creature with strength and speed and just being overall epic and cool.
Okay, that's fair.
However,
Oh.
the lady scientist is like, I don't know why it affects some people and turns them into demons, but then other people could potentially become super soldiers.
Oh my God.
And she's like,
I know where this is going.
and she's like, well, the human genome isn't entirely mapped yet. There's still like 10% that we don't know. And some people think this is where the genetic traits for good and evil exist.
So Reaper, you know how your friend
And
just
so-
smashed himself
and
on
so-
the head?
And so we think, yeah,
Try
that guy was
injecting
evil, by the
yourself.
way.
Yeah, so wait, so if you
The
wait.
God guy.
Because he
if
was
you're-
turning into a zombie.
Yeah, if you're evil, then the 24th thing turns you into a zombie.
That
So the
affects-
Catholic guy.
And it also makes you aggressive towards people who have the good genes.
Oh, okay.
So it turns, if you're evil, it makes you hyper aggressive and want to kill good people. And if you're good, it turns you into a super soldier.
So the Catholic was evil.
He was evil.
Okay.
I mean, surprising no one.
Genetically, he was
Genetically evil.
And so she's like, oh no, that means not everyone on the ship is infected. Or they are infected, but they're not going to turn into demons. She said 10% of the people won't turn into demons,
So that
which means
means the world is-
genetically 90%
Hold
of
on.
all people are evil.
Great. So we have
Probably
4 people right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, there's the rest of the crew, but they get picked off one by demons.
okay.
And they just get like ripped to shreds
Yeah.
mostly, so we don't have to worry about them. But then Sarge is like, I gotta take out these demons. No demons can get to Earth. I'm not gonna
Okay.
let a single
that's
demon.
fair.
And then he finds a bunch of civilians, and he's like, these civilians are all gonna turn into demons. I'm gonna kill them. And then Mr. Urban goes, no, don't do it, Sarge. They're not
Yeah.
gonna be evil.
I'm a pacifist.
Is this a-
I'm a pacifist.
Yeah.
I don't believe in killing people who aren't demons.
You know, I'm glad they kept the characterization.
And Sarge is like, okay, I won't. And then
Oh.
he kills him.
You know, if he gets the 24th chromosome, he's gonna turn into a big bad guy.
Maybe he already has Colin. That's
Oh,
right.
my.
He already got infected,
Oh
and
my
he
gosh.
already wants to kill the good people because that's what it makes you do. But he's like, but he thinks he still thinks he's in the right at this point, and he's like, I gotta
Dude.
get myself a bigger gun. And then he goes to the research bay, and then he's like, oh, that's a big fucking gun. And what is it, Colin? It's the BFG. That's right, baby,
Yeah.
from the video
Oh
games.
my goodness.
And he uses it to explode people, and it's awesome.
People or demons? People.
Both.
Okay.
And then, so all the demons are attacking, and Reaper and his sister are trying to survive. And there's like a love interest for his sister, but he dies. So
Okay.
he gets pulled through
Classic.
a grate,
Oh,
which was
Ooh.
not
Wow.
great.
Ooh.
That's
Um,
goopy.
Ooh, that's a sharp grate.
and then, well, it was a regular grate when it started, and then he pulled through it.
ugh.
Like it's like flensed.
So when does Reaper decide I must inject myself?
So Reaper
That's coming.
gets mortally wounded.
Oh.
And his sister's like, I have distilled the serum that will let me inject you.
Classic.
But you will be tested by genetics and God or whatever to see if your soul is worthy. And he's like, don't do it. I've done some bad things. And she's like, no, I know you. You're my brother.
You're pacifist.
You got a good soul. You're pacifist.
You didn't kill those civvies.
The pacifist marine.
And so he's gonna die, but she's like, this will give you regenerative powers.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
save your life, like Wolverine. And so she infects him with it, and then he turns into the Doomguy.
Nice.
And then once he gets injected with it, it goes first person, Colin, and then it shows him like ripping through zombies. He's doing like flips and stuff, which is nauseating in first person. You're just like seeing the camera flip all around as he's going through ripping them to pieces, and he's like, Sarge, you got to stop killing these people. These are innocent. And he's like, oh no, I'm a demon now. And you're a good guy. I can sense it in you. And we got to fight. And
does The Rock turn into like a demon?
Yeah, he gets like demon-y towards the end of the fight. Okay. He gets like sharp teeth and stuff.
Cool.
Oh, but he doesn't like turn into
He's not
CGI
like a full
monster.
demon. Yeah, the only one who does that is Pinky, who got infected. And remember, I said there's Pinky demons in the video games. Yeah. Remember that little throwaway thing?
Did they have wheelchairs?
Yeah. In the original one, their back halves are cybernetic legs.
So why did they just put him in legs?
I so don't know, Fran.
Why would they put him in a wheelchair?
They've made him in a wheelchair now. So he has to fight a Pinky demon, and he does it, and he kills him. And then he fights The Rock, and he's like, "Hey, The Rock." And The Rock goes, how many bullets you got left in your gun? He's like, about a half a clip. And he's like, what about you? And then he looks down at the BFG. He's just like, I just got one round. And then he fires it off at him, but then he misses entirely. And so he's like, that's all right. I wanted to fight hand to hand anyway. And so Reaper's like, okay. So then they do like a bunch of punching and flipping and stuff like that. And then eventually he pushes The Rock through the portal. And then he throws a grenade through the portal, and then it explodes the portal so that it closes it forever.
But he's stuck on Mars.
He is. He and his sister are stuck on Mars, where it's ambiguous that he is just going to be fighting whatever demons are there for the rest of all time. But he did it for humanity.
Nice.
And that is the plot of the Doom movie.
Wow.
It's pretty cool, right? Would you like that movie? Rate it highly?
I don't know. It's something to watch, maybe.
This is the
more
good version of this story.
Is the like, do you see Carl Urban's face at all for the second half of the movie, or is it all just
there's just one sequence where he is like first person and it's like cool.
Oh my god, it's like a game.
It's like a video game. Oh my god.
It's so like a video game. I'm very sad that this movie came out before we were super big into memeing, because I would have loved to see the memes about the awesome raw power of the 24th chromosome.
I'm sure that, I mean, those memes already exist. I'm sure that every time I talk to a person who knows about the movie but hasn't seen it, they're like, oh yeah, that's awful. And then whenever I talk to a person who has seen it when they were younger, they're like, the movie rips. So
I mean, I have a feeling it was a good action movie for sure.
Definitely. So I think it's worth clarifying a little bit, especially now as we go into what I'm going to call the fourth quarter of this episode, to say that there is, you're allowed to like whatever you want. Yeah. I'm never going to say that you can't like something, and especially things that are stupid, right? Because I love a lot of really stupid things, but I recognize that it is stupid, right? So you can like stupid things. It doesn't make you a stupid person. It makes you smart for knowing that the thing you like is stupid. So
I'm glad we can hear your rationalizations.
So
how long's the sentence?
Keeping that in mind, the new Doom games plot is, in my opinion, bad. It's not good. They did a bad job coming up with a good story, which is fine. And if you like the new Doom games, that's fine. Because I do like the new Doom games to play them because they're a video game and they're fun to play.
Also, the soundtrack rips.
But
for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
But if I had to read this as a book, which is what I had to do, I would say it's bad. So I think the Doom games, good games.
Yep.
But let's talk about the real story of Doom. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So we've gone through our we're invested in portals to make money era.
Right.
we've gone through our here's a random portal in Arizona era.
Yep.
What's the motivating?
So
What's kicking us off?
Doom 2016.
Uh-huh.
We are again doing a soft reboot, but we know for a fact that the Doom guy from Doom 3, who is kind of a soft reboot of the Doom guy from Dooms 1 and 2, and who's also kind of the Doom that the movie's based off of.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of Doom 3, he gets trapped in hell.
Oh.
That's how Doom 3 ends.
Okay.
It's the same as the movie, except in the movie, Mars and hell are, they don't have hell, they just have Mars.
Yeah.
But in the game that the movie's based off of, he's just trapped in hell. And the implication is like, and there he was fighting demons for all eternity or whatever.
Good thing they've got extra ammunition.
Yeah, that's right. So in Doom 2016, I'm gonna go through the plot of the game just quick of like what you do in the actual game, and then let's talk about story behind it, because the story, like all the dumb shit that we have to cover on this game, is told through a bunch of flashbacks and audio logs and all that other dumb shit. And I'm just gonna tell you the story in order, but let's do the game first so that we can figure out where we are. Yeah.
All right.
Colin, have you played this game?
I have played this.
Do you
game.
remember the story of the game? Do you remember what you were doing?
I think I recall waking up in a little stone tomb with
a sarcophagus.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, with candles.
Mhm.
I think you're on Mars at the start.
Okay.
Yep. You don't go to Earth at all in the Doom 2016.
And then you do some like fetch quest things.
Yep. There's a lot of
that. To
Classic.
activate teleporters. I think.
Great, yeah.
And then you maybe end up in hell.
Who's having you fetch things on Mars, though?
I think it's you need to turn on this part of the generators.
It is. To Colin's credit, it is a lot of that.
But
That's what I remember.
But why?
I really like that we usually say things wrong, but very confidently. And Colin is now, he's like tepidly saying everything exactly right.
But that's all I'm gonna say about the game.
All right.
I don't remember anything else.
You are correct. You wake up as a Doom guy.
Yeah.
In a sarcophagus, and there is a problem. Because there's a bunch of demons that have overrun this UAC facility in hell. Remember UAC? We're still doing that?
In hell?
Oh my god.
Well, they opened up a portal to hell in this UAC facility on Mars.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
So, you are contacted by one Dr. Samuel Hayden, who is in charge of the UAC. He is the chairman of the UAC.
Okay.
And he is probably one of the most powerful men in the world. And at one point, he was a man, but he got brain cancer. But he downloaded his consciousness into a robot.
Of course.
So he is a robot man.
Yep.
Okay.
Are we cool with this?
He's a business super genius. We're talking like Elon Musk levels.
Yeah,
of just
so
genius.
fucking epic and cool. I also want to point out that the mech suit that he put his consciousness into is like 15 feet tall. He's like a huge, he towers over the Doom guy.
Who wouldn't do that, though?
I mean, that's totally fair. He only gave himself 4 fingers, though. I did notice that.
Is this an original character, or
this is an original?
Things?
I think this is an original character. It is based off of a different character from the older games that was like in charge of the UAC.
Yeah,
but he's our new guy. So we've never known him as a human. To us, he has always been a big robot man,
Okay.
which I think is a reveal at one point. But who gives a shit?
Yep.
Dr. Hayden is like, you're Doom guy.
Yeah.
I've heard of you. I know all about you. In fact, you need to kill all these demons because I know that's a thing you really like doing anyway, and I will help you do that. There are a bunch of portals opening up all over the damn place, and you need to shut them. You need to turn that shit down. What happened? He tells you through a bunch of like holograms that you see through the game, which is stupid. Is Dr. Olivia Pierce was a woman in charge of researching this new energy source that is going to power humanity. It's a source of green energy.
Ooh,
that,
baby.
Infinitely renewable.
Nice.
No problems. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Breaks the laws of physics.
Right.
We're good.
And she is in charge of this project, but she has gone rogue and has been opening a bunch of hell portals. That's right. Their research has something to do with hell portals.
on purpose again or on accident?
Like
This
the energy's
time,
coming from, right?
It's on purpose.
Oh, so they wanted the pentagrams this time.
Indeed. So again, you see through all these like flashback vision audio log things that like they were doing all this like satanic ritual shit and doing blood pentagrams on the ground and opening portals and stuff like that, but they were doing it for science.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Listen, Doomslayer. We've all opened a hell portal or two in order to get some energy and some profits. But this scientist, she's doing it irresponsibly.
Yeah, Dr. Hayden is like, we need this. Humanity needs its energy, so we gotta,
running out of those
We
dinosaur
can't open
bones.
this many hell portals.
Well,
We
yeah,
can
they don't
have
want they want to
the
keep
one
hell
or two.
in hell, but they want as we find out, hell creates an energy that they are able to refine into a usable form of energy for humans.
So is the Doomguy still a
cool.
Marine?
He is the Doomguy at this
It's just
point.
so his backstory of
This
being
is
a
the,
Marine
like,
that
where
So
the
he-
disobeyed
his-
his superior
his-
is like gone.
His sarcophagus that he like comes out of at the
Yeah,
beginning
why
of
is
the
he in a
game,
sarcophagus?
it is like covered in satanic imagery. So
okay.
the sarcophagus, as we learn through the game, came from hell. It was in hell when Dr. Hayden he reveals that there is this like ancient stone tablet that they were like deciphering, which Dr. Pierce got like obsessed with. That's why she was like going crazy.
Okay.
But on the tablet, it outlined not only that hell has an infinite source of energy and how they can refine that into usable human energy.
All right, that's
But
a
also
really detailed tablet.
that there's a sarcophagus filled with a Doomguy. I guess it had a lot of stuff on there.
Wow, that's a very
They show you the tablet and it's like big, but it's not like
not like a Rosetta
you can
Stone
see the
situation.
writing on it. It's like a paragraph.
It's a very it's a very dense language.
Yeah,
It doesn't need a
sure.
lot of syllables to get its point across.
Right. It's like the Mandarin alphabet. Yeah. But
that needs a lot of symbols to get its point across sometimes, I'd say.
well, but you can make symbols more complicated to
Okay,
have
all
more
right,
complicated, ideas.
Sure.
So there's maybe one idea for sarcophagus containing a Doomguy that can kill all the demons. That's
Wow.
just one character.
Yeah. Wow.
Dr. Pierce was pretty angry about Dr. Hayden going to collect the sarcophagus. She was like, "No, we should leave that alone. That could ruin all the stuff we're doing over here." And Dr. Hayden's like, "I'm gonna have this just in case a bunch of demons invade Mars."
Why would you
because-"
be worried about
policy.
that?
Exactly.
Yeah. That we don't need to worry about that.
So it is your job to shut down the manufacturing of this hell energy into usable human energy.
Okay. So that's part of the fetch questing.
Yeah, so you are going around and there's these like big tubes of energy it's like converting it from red into like blue.
Okay.
And so Dr. Hayden's like, "You need to shut those down," and then Doomguy just like smashes it. He's like, "No, we want to use that eventually again," but Doomguy doesn't care. He's just smashing stuff.
Okay.
He's slaying demons. He's like ripping them to shreds. He's having a good time.
Great.
And then Dr. Hayden's like, "Okay, well, you just destroyed all the production of he calls it Argent Energy."
Okay.
And he says, "Well, there's no more Argent Energy in the whole solar system. Are you happy now, Doomguy?" But
Well,
unfortunately,
it was in hell. It wasn't even in their solar system, right?
well, they
were extracting
siphoned
it
it
to-
from
They were
hell.
slurping it.
Yeah. Okay.
So now humans don't have any more Argent Energy, which Dr. Hayden is not pleased with, but he's like, "You still got to go get Dr. Pierce because she's doing a bunch of demon shit and she wants to open a portal to hell that will stay open even though you shut down all of the energy producers.
How
Because
did-
it's this Argent Energy that's keeping the portals open."
So how did they get the Argent energy from hell on Mars to Earth?
Fran, don't worry, we'll get there.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Portals. It
There's
does have to do
portals.
with portals.
We're opening more of them?
So, I mean, you see, because you go to hell at some point and you see that there's these like big beams of light that shoot up
Yeah.
through hell. And it's implied that those big beams just like go to other dimensions.
Oh.
So you can like siphon off the energy from those like relay stations, kind of.
Okay. So you're taking energy from multidimensional portals and giving it to the humans to use
Yes.
because we're irresponsible?
Yeah.
Okay. Got
But
it.
now we have infinite energy. That's
That's pretty
fine.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm sure it's infinite, just like gases.
Yeah,
It
we don't have
seems
to-
to be infinite.
We don't have to deal with any of that lame shit anymore, like solar power.
Yeah,
Fuck
that
that.
sucks my ass, dude. All right, so as Colin said, you're like shutting all these things down.
Yeah.
You're like pulling all these levers and stuff.
Smashing shit.
But Dr. Pierce has acquired a hell energy accumulator, which I guess she can use to open up a big portal to hell. And she
that
does
could be
that.
problematic.
Yeah, she does that. She like throws herself into this big tower, and then it opens up a big portal to hell, and Doomguy also falls through, and now you're in hell.
Did we learn about her motivations, or are you getting to that?
We can
Like-
just say right now, she's like, she's
wants
been
to be a
corrupted.
demon.
Yeah, the demons are like, we'll give you a bunch of cool shit if you open up all these portals. And then she does the thing where she's like, you promised me all this cool power. It's like, these are
a
literal
demon.
demons. Yeah. Like, what do you think is going to happen here, man?
Yeah, that's why you always have to get your contracts and deals with demons in writing
That's
Mhm.
right.
1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And have a lawyer look over them.
Mhm. Yep.
But
But don't let the demons hire the lawyer.
right. Well,
It's your own
having
lawyer.
having
You
a
each can
that's
get your
just
own
demons
lawyer.
looking at demons, hiring a lawyer. So take that, lawyers. Anyway. So now you're in hell.
Yep.
Oh man. And in hell, all the switches are made out of like skulls that
That's
you have to
cool.
like push as a big button.
Classic.
And there's no like technology, it's all just like bones and stone and shit.
And argent energy.
And argent energy factories.
presumably.
Dr. Hayden is like, the argent energy is called, it comes from a place called the Well. So there's this like naturally occurring place in hell where all this argent energy comes from.
The ways of
Well, it's hell energy comes from the well, and then they refine it into argent energy.
Oh, so it's not just existing argent energy.
Correct. You have to do something to it to make it argent energy.
And that was all in that tablet with
The
this Doom guy.
demons
Alright.
are able to subsist off of only hell energy.
Fair,
That's
because they
what
are
the-
demons.
Right, because they're demons. But you're able to convert it to a better form of energy called argent energy
Yeah.
that the demons don't really give a shit about.
Okay.
Because they're demons and they've got hell energy.
Okay.
So Doomguy at this point is just like, I got to get back to Mars
Yep.
because there's still a bunch of demons there, and
I don't want to be here.
and I guess the main thing is, I think at this point Dr. Hayden's like, you can't shut down the portal from there.
Mm.
There's like a special place in hell you got to go to, but I don't know where that is yet. And you got to get back to Mars because there's some cool stuff that we can give you that can help you fight. So.
Nice.
So he's like, you got to get out of Mars. So you got to find a teleporter. Oh, your sarcophagus actually came from hell.
Oh.
And like I led a team there to go like get it out. So if you go back to where the sarcophagus was, we have a teleporter there because
Oh.
that's how we teleported.
We just kind of left it there just in
Yeah.
case.
Nice.
So you have to like go back to where your sarcophagus was pulled from.
Mhm.
And then that's where you get all the like demon audio logs where they're like, and then there was the Ancient One who could not be stopped. All he knew was destruction, his soul bent by the powers of hell, yet unbreaking.
He's a pacifist who doesn't kill
civilians. It is this stuff that annoys me because like the lore could have just been this. Like it could have just been these like background of like these demons are so scared of you.
Yeah.
Because you to them you are this like
Unstoppable
yeah,
force.
you are a god to them that they are so afraid of because you're like an unstoppable killing machine, and they're like, and he torn asunder the armies of hell, and the titans could not stop him.
Okay.
And he's just like ripping through hell because he was like stuck in hell,
Yeah.
presumably just murdering a bunch of demons for time unknown since Doom 3.
Did we ever figure out what put him in the sarcophagus though?
Not yet, Colin.
Oh, Colin. We'll
You
get
little-
there.
you
But
little
yeah, I
Freddy
mean, what
foreshadowing
CJ's
over here.
describing is the lore of Doom 2016.
Yeah.
It's when Doom Eternal comes around that they're like, what if we get really off the rails?
Yeah, what if it's dumber? There's a little bit of hints of like they definitely had some plans, but I did get a big sense going through this that they were doing the whole like putting track in front of the train kind of thing. because there was a lot of moments where it's like they're doing a lot of gymnastics to like make things make sense from the old games.
Yeah.
Our
which is
favorite
how you
kind
get,
of lore.
Yeah, which is how you get really good lore.
Yeah, it's great lore. It's good.
So you get teleported back to Mars. You find your old sarcophagus place. You get teleported back. Dr. Hayden's like, okay, I'm going to put this thing on you. It's called a tether. And it's going to let me pull you back from Mars whenever you need to get pulled back or pull you back into Mars. So
that's nice.
It's all good.
Probably should have put that on him earlier.
Yeah. Well, he's like, now you can go to hell and it's not going to be a problem. And you can just get there. Which, speaking of, you need to get back to hell. And you destroyed that big portal that the doctor initially created.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to get one of those hell energy accumulators that the doctor had.
You can open up portals.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
And he's
wait,
the
big portal was the problem. So why like?
Well, they still need a portal.
Now they're like, well, Dr. Hayden or Dr. Pierce is in hell right now.
Yeah,
and she's gonna do a thing that opens a big portal.
But I thought the demons didn't like her, or we're not.
No, they're just using her,
okay.
And they're still using her, and she's still alive, being used by demons.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he's like, we got to stop her because she's gonna unleash hell on Mars, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
And so
once again, this still does sound like a Mars problem.
Oh, there's also speaking of Mars, there's also a AI called Vega.
Okay.
Who, you know how in the Metroid episode we talked about how people keep making an AI to run a planet for some reason?
Yeah.
Well, Vega
is
a big AI that was made to run Mars.
Yeah.
So Vega's helping out too. He's like a creation of Dr. Hayden. And
Dr. Hayden doesn't want to do it all day.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like a robot that's like doing all the opening portals and stuff like that. But he's like, you got to go get another hell energy accumulator so you can open a portal to hell to go, because you need to get something. In the big special tablet that we have, remember, that has all the information on it? There was another piece of information, by the way.
Helpful, just like on the back.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we got to flip it over.
He's like, so all of this energy that's being beamed from hell is coming from these hell refineries. And you need to shut those down, or Dr. Pierce is going to open up a big portal to Earth and destroy it.
Who built the refineries in hell?
That's a question that doesn't matter, but they'll answer it in the next game anyway.
Oh, great. See.
You're the problem. So he's like, well, to do that, you're gonna need a relic that I think you're pretty familiar with, aren't you, Doomguy? Because it was written on the same tablet where they wrote about you.
Oh God, how many sides are on this tablet?
2, I guess. But you need to go and retrieve the Crucible, because the Crucible has the ability to shut down the factories that make the energy somehow. And then Doomguy's like, okay, whatever. But the Crucible is in hell, and you need to get back to hell because you're in Mars right now. So he's
I forgot how much
I know. You just go back and forth. And so he's like, well, there's only one hell accumulator I can think of. Good luck getting that, though. Lol, 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 lol. Well, there's a cyber demon. Nice. Are you familiar with the cyber demons?
No.
You need this MacGuffin for this MacGuffin.
Yeah,
this MacGuffin.
That's literally what the game is for, like, most of it. Which works for it's a shooter.
It's
an arena shooter game. Like, you just need a reason to go to a new place to murder a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But the cyber demon has a hell energy accumulator inside of its chest. That's what's powering it.
Great. Awesome.
So you kill the cyber demon, you take his thing, you explode it, you open up a portal to hell, you get back into hell, you go inside of the corpse of this big titan, and inside of it there is the Crucible. And it's made out of like bones and skulls and shit.
What does the Crucible do again? I lost that.
The Crucible is able to absorb Argent energy, it would seem. That seems to be what it do.
Okay.
And he says if you go use it on the factories, it will shut them down.
And just suck all the Argent
It'll suck all the energy out of the factories, so the factories will stop.
But I thought it was infinite.
Well, the hell energy is infinite, but the actual thing refining it into Argent energy is not infinite.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Got it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Great. So makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Just so you know,
I feel like I should have written notes for
in
this one.
the wiki, it constantly will refer to different types of energy, of which there are some that are well established, but every once in a while it is a little like ambiguous as to like what you're actually talking about, and the people on the wiki don't fucking know. So they just like, it could possibly be this energy or maybe some sort of byproduct of this energy or some such shit. It's all very stupid. And I will say this as another note.
Yeah.
I always feel like it's our job to explain the lore, but sometimes I feel bad because I'll be like, I feel like if you played the game, we're just like rehashing a lot of this stuff. Maybe giving, maybe just like packaging it. We do our little jokes on top of it, but maybe we're just like packaging like readily available information. I know from watching all the cutscenes in the games, playing the games, and then reading the wiki, that the people writing the wiki, at least for this one, have no media comprehension. Like, they're just writing stuff, and I'm like, this is just wrong. Like, I, as a person who knows all of this stuff now, can say that this is just wrong. I should be writing the wiki at this point, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make this podcast. I will say, though, this one is going to be a little harder to get all the lore on a playthrough, though, than some of the other games that we've done.
There's like you can ignore a lot of it, right? With the
you can ignore all of it. You should, in fact.
How do you see it?
Yeah.
In the game.
So right now you're just getting flashbacks and audio logs.
Yeah.
And they're just like referencing.
But like, when do the audio, like, do you have to like physically access the audio log? Like, it doesn't just like play while you're shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a little podium, and then you like boop it, and then it's like,
oh, so you can just not boop
and then there's
thing.
like and there's like a demonic voice, and he's like, and so he came to slay us
and
all.
then you just left because
and
you
then
don't
you
want
just leave because you're like, oh wait, this isn't actually
it doesn't do anything. Cool.
Right. Yeah, we're still in that like 2010s era where all video games explain their lore through just audio logs that are littered everywhere.
And then we complained about that, and then we got a bunch of plot-heavy cutscenes and like books you had to read. So like, go back to the audio logs, I guess. I'm sorry that I made fun of you, BioShock. It's fine. It's a good way to tell stories, I guess.
We knew not what we did.
So we at some point kill Olivia, right?
Yeah, that's at the end.
Okay.
We're not there yet. We're still fetching.
Basically,
we're fetching we got the
crucible
thingy that powered the cyber demon,
right,
to get the crucible.
And then you get pulled back to Mars by the tether.
Yeah.
And then you get all the energy.
And then he's like, okay, now we need to go back to Mars, or we need to go back to Hell, but we need to go back to the right spot in Hell where this big factory is.
So how are we at the third or fourth time that we've jumped?
I think it's 4
15?
times you go back and forth in this game. And so he's like, unable to do that, we're going to need a huge energy source. But the only energy source left is Vega. That's right. Your little robot companion is a huge supercomputer. And I guess he runs off of a shit ton of energy. And they're like, we can open a portal by like exploding Vega's core or some such shit.
Okay.
And then it's kind of sad because Vega's like, you have to basically do a kill on me, and I'm not allowed to kill myself because I'm a robot, so you're gonna have to do it.
That's sad.
So he's like, I'll walk you through it.
Listen, you're a pacifist.
Yeah.
So
it's assisted suicide.
Well, he is a pacifist because, I kid you fucking not, he is a big supercomputer the size of a whole building. It requires a whole facility to make a quote 0 Kelvin generator, which is the only 0 Kelvin generator in the universe.
I mean, he's literally running a planet.
Right.
So, I mean, it needs to be a decent size.
And so at the end of it, so there's all these like huge processing cores and stuff you're just like ripping out and destroying. And he's like, all right, now just hit the final button to do a self-destruct and it will propel you to hell. And so you're on a touch screen and you're like, do the self-destruct. And then there's a little button in the upper right that says Vega backup. And so you just push that and then pull out a flash drive, and now you have him on a flash drive.
Oh.
So why the fuck did you need all this other stuff? Because he shows up in the later game. Because it's like, you killed his main guy, I guess, but then you just backed him up on a little USB drive.
His source code can be compressed quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's highly compressible.
Yeah. Or what I'm hearing.
You see,
his consciousness is made up a bunch of like JPEGs that are uncompressed, and you can just like smoosh them all down.
Or like half the cores were unnecessary because they were just being used for AI.
Yeah, it's just like
generation
it's just like Ram. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm
Yeah.
dumber now, but I still have all my thoughts and memories, I guess.
Well, also it could be a situation where like when they built the facility, they needed like a lot more equipment, but then as time progressed, everything got smaller.
Moore's law kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that makes a
And
lot
then
of sense.
then now we just have like a 5 terabyte flash drive, and then we
Right.
can just
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
Doomguy does show mercy for Vega
Good.
and backs him up on a little flash drive and keeps it with him.
And you
Yeah.
didn't even need to make a decision, right? It just
does that.
for you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Well, he needs to exist in the next game.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
you don't make decisions in this game; you just destroy things. Anyway, you get exploded to hell. Dr. Pierce is there, and she is like a demon now.
Yeah.
She's been corrupted or whatever.
did she have a 24th chromosome?
Probably, I guess she does. So it is like when humans are killed by demons, their souls go to hell, and then the husk that once was a human becomes zombified, and then that zombie turns slowly into a demon via the process of demonification.
So there's 2 demons. You become 2 demons.
Your soul becomes
Energy.
energy.
Oh,
Hell
okay.
energy is human souls.
I see.
Okay.
So human torment
Converts energy.
converts human souls into energy.
That's fair.
So this is
I
a
can see why
Monsters
it's
Inc.
unlimited.
situation.
This is exactly a Monsters Inc. situation where the demons create big factories to torture human souls to convert their human souls into hell energy. And then you can refine that hell energy. It's just Full Metal Alchemist. You just take a human soul and then you convert it into energy and then you use it.
Spoiler
No,
alert.
I think it's Monsters Inc.
It's also Monsters Inc.
Yeah, we're purposely terrifying the children so we can get their
And
screams
then- and then the
power our
the-
society.
The tortured bodies of the humans
Turn into the
then
demon.
turn into
Demon.
yeah,
The soulless demons.
thoughtless demons that the first phase is like they're a zombie. You fight a bunch
Yeah.
of zombies.
The
Okay.
easy intro enemies.
Right. And
Okay.
then as they develop, they turn into greater demons. But there are a lot of demons that have like cybernetic enhancements, like the cyber demon, and basically
Yeah.
every other demon has a bunch of like cyber things on them.
Well, I
How
guess
did they get those?
That's pretty wild. If I was playing the game, I'd be like, oh, a cool aesthetic choice. Demons and cyber technology. That's kind of fun.
Let's just leave it
They
at
must
that.
have just mashed it up together. Yeah, that would be cool. But don't worry, Colin. We'll get a reason as to why they
Nice.
look like
You
that
gotta
also.
explain everything.
Yeah, of course.
so it sounds like the Doom 2016 introduced all the questions. Then Doom Eternal's just going to
And then
answer
they're gonna
everything.
answer.
I mean, literally not questions, but you know,
They didn't have to
the
be
questions no one was asking.
Right.
There were people asking, I'm sure.
And so Doomguy defeats Dr. Pierce, who turns into a big demon.
Yeah.
He uses the crucible to absorb the energy out of these like factories that are creating energy out of human suffering. And then he gets tether pulled back to Mars, and the day is saved. But
Great.
what's that? Dr. Hayden is like, you did destroy the demons, and that's pretty cool, but humans need a source of energy, man.
Can't use the sun, can't use wind.
And we really need that. And hey, maybe you're right. Maybe we shouldn't be using the tortured souls of humans in order to power our society, but
Our human society.
we don't have a better plan right now. So he yoinks the crucible off of you and he says, this will do quite nicely. It's absorbed a bunch of argent energy. And he goes, also, it's a sword. You didn't know
that's
that, did you,
cool.
you fucking idiot?
That's pretty cool.
That would have been cool to use.
It was the hilt of a laser sword.
dope.
And he's like, and listen, I don't want to fight you because I don't like that you just destroy everything, but you're very useful, and I'm not the bad guy here, okay? I'm keeping humanity running, so
I'm just a capitalist. Listen,
So
I'm
he's-
really the good guy.
So
I
he's
think.
like, I'm gonna take this crucible and I'm going to redirect the tether to teleport you elsewhere. You can't send him to hell because
Yeah.
hell is now like blocked off. There's no hell portals. So in the hierarchy of things, UAC was able to make portals that just go wherever in the universe.
Uh-huh.
But the hell dimension is a different dimension. So to make a hell portal, it's like a different thing.
Sure.
Okay.
That
And they
makes
closed
sense.
that.
So he's like, I'm just gonna portal you to fucking somewhere. See
planet.
you. I think we're on the same team here, but I'll see you in the next video game. Anyway, bye-bye. And then he teleports him away, and that's the end of Doom 20. And you're like, oh, it was a sword. Why didn't I get to use the sword? I hope I do in the next game. And why? Oh, where did he send Doomguy? I wonder if there's a bunch of really fucking convoluted dumbass lore about some planet that exists that had an ancient war with hell at some point.
Whoa.
That would be pretty epic. What if Doomguy was actually part of those people that fought those ancient guys? That would be pretty cool. But what if he actually was an outsider to them also? But also...
Wow. That's a lot of sarcastic questions, CJ from the past. Oh, hi there. It's me, CJ from the future, watching this episode at the exact same time as you, like I always do. This one's got a ways to go, and the lore only gets wilder from here. So we're going to split this one into 2 parts on our regular schedule. And hey, we have a very special Halloween episode that is slated to come out on Halloween Day. So mark that on your calendars as well. A lot of great spooky content coming out for you guys. But for now, we will leave it at that cliffhanger. As always, we want to thank Galestorm Kitsune for doing the artwork for the podcast, and to Apajo for doing the intro and outro music that you are about to hear very soon. And you know that I've been CJ, and that was Fran, Ethan, and Colin. And we'll see you next time at Doom 2 Electric Doomaloo. And then I just have to remember to go back and then add in a good funny joke for the end bit.